nigga jumped over the table. Oh yeah, he the go. He up out of here. He the go. Shut up, nigga.
What's up, y'all? Today we're here with Malik Moses, here to talk about your new single, Constellations, but want to hear a little bit about you and where you're from. Obviously, being from Baltimore, wanted to learn a little bit about how that's influenced your sound.
Okay. In a bunch of ways, man. I like to pay homage to the city. Anybody that knows me knows that it's tattooed all over me. So I like to do it in my music as well when I can. But also in other ways, it's pushed me to like try new shit. It's pushed me to like get away from maybe the thing that everybody's doing. It's a super small city. I always say it's like a big extended family. Like a lot of people gonna know 10 other people 15 other people just because we all get around. We all in the same space. So that pushed me in the music scene to try and do shit my own way. Probably pushed me to doing a little more singing than rapping. So it's influenced me in a few ways. Like it's helped nurture the sound, but it's also helped kind of push it into different directions.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's always great to see you kind of going in a different direction. But I guess with Baltimore's influence, where would you say that Baltimore is pushing artists? Like, how would you say that influences all these other artists?
Just the city itself. It makes you hungry. It makes you hungry. Like it's the same way a lot of people look at New York. It's just New York as a bigger city. It's more popular, but we got that same hustle mentality. It just, like whether you want to stay there, whether you want to leave, like that shit just makes you hungry to go get it. Like, so that's how it's pushing artists, I think, right now. Like a lot of the homies, a lot of the Butch Dawsons of the world, the Bobby Woodies, the Al Rogers, like it just makes niggas hungry. That's all I can say, I think, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I know you said Baltimore obviously has its influences in your music, but we're speaking out here on the West Coast, and you moved out here. Would you say that since moving out here, that's had any influence on your sound today?
I'll say yeah, but it's honestly had a big influence before I came out here. The people that I get to work with these days in my life, I've been fans for a very long time, and they've influenced my stuff for a very long time. So, I mean, a lot of my favorite artists are West Coast artists. I still got a love for the city, and I'm gonna always be from where I'm from. But yeah, I've always had love for West Coast artists and West Coast music, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, LA as a hub definitely has a big influence in hip hop and R&B. Well, let's talk a little bit about the track Constellations, your single that's coming out. Really, who produced the track?
Simon Says. A lot of people might not know that name, but they will soon. Yeah, it's a really good friend of mine. I've been knowing for some years now, but we got probably like, trying not to exaggerate, probably like over 100 songs together. So this is just the first one that's coming out.
Okay, so hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more.
Yeah, he'll be around.
When did you first hear this track?
Maybe 2 years ago now, a year and some change ago. When I was still living in New York, I did a little demo in my 8x8 closet of a bedroom. But yeah, I kind of refined it out here. But I first heard it, I think, maybe a year and some change ago.
Okay, so you had some time to hear, work on it.
For
I guess, really, what was the process of bringing this all to life?
It was kind of easy. This was one of the ones that was like simple. It was like one of the ones that just comes out. I feel like all artists can relate to that. Like some of them are a little harder and you kind of got to try at it. And then some of them just happen. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I guess when we come to the writing process, like where do you specifically look for inspiration? And then I guess once that inspiration is struck, what's that process look like?
I always look for inspiration in the beat itself, honestly. I kind of let it guide me. Like I come from like a classical music background. And it's so much emotion in classical music, and you can feel it with every note, every instrument, every dynamic that they choose. And so I kind of look at beats in the same way. So when I hear a beat, I let that kind of drive me where it wants to go. Like when I hear a certain drum pattern, I think about certain memories, whether it's happy or sad, or when I hear certain melodies, I think about they strike memories in my head. Okay. So I usually honestly let the beat just kind of carry me where it wants to take me.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes it really cohesive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of the lyrics specifically in this song. One in particular, I've been constantly contemplating, where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I now? Why am I losing you? Can you share a little bit about your point of view on like the uncertainty of a person's journey and really how that uncertainty impacted your life?
Wow.
Yeah. Deep.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of my decisions up until very recently have been like kind of driven with a lot of that uncertainty. Just trying to be an artist in general is like, it's a very, it's trying mentally. Like it's until you get it, like you don't really have any firm ground to stand on.
Yeah.
So it's like I dealt with that a lot of just really not knowing where I'm going. What am I doing? Am I wasting my time? Am I wasting my life? Should I quit? Should I do something else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that really yeah, really fucking meant that.
Hey, I mean, being a musician, being in music, obviously you got to be pretty vulnerable. I can see where that uncertainty would come from.
Yeah.
But uncertainty, especially, I mean, in the last year with the world the way it's been, is a pretty relatable feeling, I can imagine.
For sure.
So I guess I can see where you're coming from on that sense. But I guess when we're talking about why am I losing you, who is the you in reference to?
A particular ex of mine. I think around the time I wrote it, I had just gotten out of like a 5-year relationship.
Okay.
So it was in reference to that, yeah.
Yeah, it can bring some stuff out.
Yeah. It was a long time. A bunch of different cities we lived in together. There, a bunch of different experiences we had together. So it was a bit of a tough time.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's move on to another one of the lyrics in this song here. Mama thinks I'm scared of the past. Really, I'm just scared I won't make it. Died right after I left. Might be here if I wasn't impatient. What is this line in reference to?
So I guess it's two-parted. To the first half, me and my mom always had a great relationship. I could always see when she's worried about me. And I know she thinks I worry about just like decisions I've made or that I stew over things that I've done before. But really, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of my anxiety or fear had come from just not being sure if I would, one, make it in what I wanted to do in life, and two, if I would just, in reference to being back home, if I would just make it through the fucking day. And then the second part is in reference to a good friend of mine. I bleeped their name in the record, and so I'm not gonna say their name now either, but it's just about some guilt I carry. It's just about not being around when they passed away. A lot of people feel this way. Like, what could I have done if I was around? If I wasn't so impatient about making my dreams come true and moving out of the city, if I was around, could I have kept them from around certain shit? So that's what that's referencing.
Okay. Yeah. I guess in reference to the patience. Yeah. Really, what parts of your life have seen this patience really be tested the most?
Probably just the music side, man. Like that. Like, to be fair, that's a lot of my life. Like, that's a lot of what I do just on a day-to-day basis. Is just like honing my craft, perfecting my craft. So like that has tested my patience a lot through my life. Just with certain decisions I make, moving to certain places in the country. And in certain relationships because I pour so much time into my craft. So that's really where like my patience gets tested the most, for sure.
Oh, well, let's talk about one more lyric in this song. I be drunk thinking where I am at. I be high like the first time we met. Pop too many Xans, I guess. Way too much love to express to you. The desire to escape feels really relatable, especially today. Why do you think that is? And have you found ways to kind of cope with that, or are you still on that journey today?
I've gotten much better with it. I was like I'm an overthinker, for sure. So I was having like existential crises at a super young age about like just what does life mean and is this all for nothing and that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So like that kind of created a lot of anxiety in my life. So that's really what a lot of my like escaping is from. It's much better now, but I had at times like just super crippling anxiety and just couldn't really cope with it. Now I'm a lot better. I've learned little tricks and methods to help with that. But yeah, that's really what that escaping is about, is just not really knowing how to deal with how I was looking at the world at the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a relatable topic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting that you're willing to share that in your music, and I think it's something people can definitely connect with.
Yeah, for sure. We gotta be honest in the music.
Yeah, especially nowadays. Let's move on and talk a little bit about the music video. What would you say, in what ways did the music really influence the music video, and really from those visual cues, how will we see that inspiration?
I'm hoping they come across in a pretty obvious way. But if not, I would divulge a little bit. So I mean, the first kind of thing is that it's in black and white.
Okay.
It's just off the rip. And that's kind of just has to do with the tone of the record itself being a little darker, being a little like more like melancholy. And then we do a lot of work with shadows and lighting, a lot of work with mirrors, just because like the song is me holding up a mirror to myself in a lot of ways. And then it's a lot of me dealing with certain demons I might have about visual representation being like shadows. You know what I mean? So we just kind of did a lot of playing with lighting, a lot of playing with that black and white, certain silhouettes, and just like figuring out how we could bring that emotion to the front.
All right, yeah. It sounds like you put a lot of thought into this to tie it into the music, but really, why was it important for you to capture this song in a video?
I feel like it's important for me to do that just because of the things I reference in the record are very important to me. And it's one of the few on this project where I really go, not into super detail, but into some detail about just people I lost and my journey through the city. And so it was important for me to try and put some of that on camera, just visually let people see it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you've had 2 singles now, and 2 videos in the past few months. It's obvious that you really have an appreciation for bringing that music to life in these videos. What is it that the music videos really offer you as an artist that kind of helps you further show off your creative palette?
I just like making stuff. I just like making stuff, man. Yeah. For sure. I've always been super interested in not even just dope music videos, just dope film, dope short films, dope pictures. Like I've always been interested in visuals and trying to figure out how I could make things I would like to see. And so music videos was just like the most obvious way for me right now because I am a little more established in making music.
Yeah.
So music videos have been a great way for me to kind of get my feet wet, sit behind other directors who actually know what the fuck they're doing, and just try and learn and pick up little things here and there where I can, and then add my 2 cents in about maybe what certain shots we can get or what kind of aesthetic we can have, and just learn, because one day I want to take it further. I want to direct, my own videos, but short films, commercials, whatever. Like, I just want to take it a little bit further. So music videos was a good way to kind of get into that.
Yeah, it's a great extra medium to really kind of showcase and tell that story that you're hearing in the song.
Yeah.
Where is this all really headed for Malik Moses?
That's a good fucking question, man. I mean, hopefully it's headed up, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't think there's any really crazy, deep thing I'm looking for, any crazy, like, oh, in 5 years I want to have Grammy and this and that. Like I said, man, I just like making stuff. And I'm really, really fucking lucky to be in this position where people trust me and let me kind of make stuff. So that's really where it's headed for me, is hopefully continuing that trust and delivering, and then making bigger and better stuff. That's where it's headed.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to taking this journey with you and following along.
Thanks.
Cool. Well, I think that's a wrap for us here today in Santa Barbara with Malik.